Hello, today we're going to be doing Module 3, Lesson 4. And our objective is that we're going to model tiling with centimeter and inch unit squares as a strategy to measure area. Now, this is something that you're going to be doing in class for your lesson. You're going to be given a centimeter grid paper and an inch grid paper, and we're going to be using that to measure our shapes. But for the homework, you don't need the paper. It's already provided on your homework sheet, so we're going to cover it this way. Before we can do that, we need to do our application problem. So this application problem can be done several different ways, of course, just like most math problems. Now, Jace uses paper squares to create a rectangle. Clary cuts all of Jace's squares in half to create triangles. She uses all of the triangles to make a rectangle. There are 16 triangles in Clary's rectangle. How many squares were in Jace's shape? Well, let's first draw a picture. So this is Jace's shape. So we know he's got kind of a tilted rectangle. There's his rectangle. Okay, but we don't know how many squares are in there. And he's just lined up all of his squares. We don't know how many he has. Clary has the same rectangle, but she took his squares, and she cut them, or he cut them, into triangles like this. See how he cut them? So it's exactly the same rectangle, it just has triangles instead of squares. So it says there's 16 triangles. So let's do 16 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2. Excuse me. Okay. So now she has Clary has 16 triangles in her rectangle. How many squares are in Jace's? So we could just figure out and compare how many squares. Well, let's see. This one has, if I were just to do squares, let me change my color. Come on, marker. Let's do blue for Jace. Okay, now Clary's cut a square here. Cut a square here. So here's a square. Here is a square. Here would be a square. Do you see? So I can move these up here. So there's 3 squares here. 4, 5. See, 4, 5. Then we have 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would need to erase this leftover stuff because now I've got 9. Okay, so I can draw a picture like this and just look at it and label it as soon as I found my pencil. Sometimes computers slow on a Monday morning. Oh, pencil. Pencil selected. There we go. I want black. Okay. Now, so these are both the same rectangles. Jay's had, I can count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many squares are in Jace's shape? 8. Okay, or we can use a math sentence. Now, I know every single square I cut into 2 pieces. Clary cut into 2 pieces, right? So I can take her 16 triangles, and I can divide it by 2. And what would my answer be? 8, right? Okay, or I could skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. Okay, either way works fine. Okay, now we are not finished until we write our statement. Please make sure it's a sentence. So, Jace had 8 squares in his shape. Now, if you don't know how to spell squares, look it up here. Here's squares. If you don't know how to spell Jace, look up here. If you don't know how to spell shape, it's right here. Look and use your context clues to spell things correctly. Make sure you have a capital and a period. And we are finished with this problem. Okay, now let's look at the next one. This is what your homework is about. Okay, so I'm going to draw a shape. I'll draw a rectangle. And let's find the area of this rectangle. Please draw the same rectangle. So we got 3 columns. Make sure yours has the same number of squares as I do. So, we would do a capital A for area. What is the area of this rectangle? Well, this is 3 rows of 1, 2, 3, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of 3. Okay, what would that be? That's 18. So our area is 18 units. Or we could say squares, or we could say inches. If this was centimeters, we would say 18 centimeters. But I'm going to put units because we don't know what they are. Now, we need to make another shape that has exactly the same area as this shape. Okay, so I'm going to make it over here in the corner. And what could I do that would make 18? Think of your multiplication sentence, or your multiplication sentences. What would equal 18? Well, I know 2 times 9 does. Okay, so let's make one. 2 groups of 9. All right, so it's going to be a long, skinny one. So 2 rows. Oops, lost my pencil. 2 rows, and let's make 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's the area of this shape? The area is 18 units. Oops, gotta dot that I. Think. Now, can I make another shape that has the same area as these 2 shapes? So it's a multiplication sentence that needs to equal 18. Well, I could do an easy one. How about 1 times 18? 1 times 18 is 18. So let's do 1 group of 18. We know it's going to be really long and skinny. Here we go. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, even longer, 16, 17, 18. What's the area of this shape? The area of this shape is 18 units. Okay? Now, what is the same about all of these shapes? Well, they have the same units. They all have squares, they all have centimeters. Okay? What else? They all have exactly the same area. It doesn't matter what the shape looks like. It has the same area. It has the same number of squares. All right. When you do your homework, be looking for problems that want to know or have you make another one that has a different shape, has the same area. So if I was given this one, I find the area, and then I can think of other multiplication sentences. And that is what tells me what to make for a different area, or make for a different shape with the same area. All right, good luck. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.